Appendix 7 of the Holy Quran, Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation, is the Thamud Inscriptions at Al-Hijr, and this is related to Surah 26, ayat 141 to 159, 15, ayat 80 to 84, and Surah 7, 73 to 79. Mr. C.M. Doughty traveled in northwestern Arabia and Najd in the 1880s, and his book, Arabia Deserta, forms one of the most notable of Arabian travel books. It was first published in 2 volumes by the Cambridge University Press in 1888 and has recently gone through several editions. The edition I have used is the unabridged 1-volume edition printed in London in 1926. The reference in this appendix should be understood to refer to that edition. Doughty traveled on the old pilgrim caravan from Damascus as far as Ma'in Saleh, then parted company with the pilgrims and turned into Najad. Ma'in Saleh, the cities of Saleh, is one of the stations on the Syrian pilgrim route, about 180 miles north of Medina, Tabuk, to which the Holy Prophet led an expedition in the 9th year. Al-Hijr is about 170 miles farther to the northwest, and Ma'an Junction about 150 miles still further. Ma'in Saleh was also an important station on the prehistoric gold and frankincense Bakur route between Yemen and Egypt or Syria. In sacred history, it marks the ruined site of the Thamud people, to whom the prophet Saleh was sent, whose she-camel was a symbolic sign as it is connected with Saleh's history. And see Surah 26, ayat 155 to 157. To the west and northwest of Ma'in Saleh are 3 harat, or tracts of volcanic land covered with lava, stretching as far as Tabuk. This is how Doughty describes his first view of Ma'in Saleh, approaching from the northwest, at length in the dim morning twilight. As we journeyed, we were come to a sandy brow and a straight descending place betwixt cliffs of sandstones. There was some shouting in the forward, and Aswad bid me look up. This was a famous place. Mabrak al-Aqqa, the kneeling place of the she-camel of Saleh. It is short, at first steep, and issues upon the plain of Al-Hijr, which is Ma'in Saleh, where the sun, coming up, showed the singular landscape of this valley plain, encompassed with mighty sandstone precipices, which here resemble ranges of city walls, fantastic towers, and castle buildings, and upon them the high shouldering sand drifts. The bottom is sand, with much growth of desert bushes, and I perceive some thin sprinkled volcanic drift. Westward is seen the immense mountain blackness, terrible and lowering of the Harat. Arabia Deserta, page 83, volume 1. Doughty took some rubbings of some of the inscriptions which were accessible to him, and They were studied by the great Semitic scholar P. Ernest Renan and published by the Académie des Inscriptions et Belles Lettres. Renan's report in French is printed as an appendix to chapters 4, 5, and 6 of Arabia Deserta, page 180 to 187, volume 1, and M. La Marquise de Vauquier's note, also in French, on the Nabatean sculptured architecture at Madain Saleh at page 620 to 623, volume 1. The general result of these studies may be summarized. The sculpture and architecture are found to be the same kind as the Nabatean monuments at Petra, for which we relate to Surah 7:873. At Petra, there are no dated inscriptions preserved, but at Madain Saleh, we have several. There are at Madain Saleh perhaps 100 sepulchral rock-hewn chambers, in some of which are found human bones and remains, showing that the Nabateans knew the art of embalming and used linen of the same kind as was used in ancient Egypt. The tombs are dedicated in perpetuity to named families, and the named Nabatean kings have each the epithet loving his people. There are flat-sided pilasters and the figures of four-footed beasts, eagles, and other birds are discernible. Besides the sepulchral chambers, there is a great hall or council chamber, Dewan, 25 feet by 27 feet by 13 feet. This may have been a temple. The entities worshipped there were those whose names we know from other Nabatean sources: Dusares, Martaba, Alat, Manat, Ka'is, and Hubal. Alat, Manat, and Hubal are also known to us in connection with idols of Quraysh, of the times of ignorance. It is interesting to find the word Masjeda, Arabic masjid, already here for the place of worship. Triads of stones were worshipped as gods. So Masjeda, hence the Quran talking about that the masajid are only for worshiping God. So it's condemning those who have places for worshiping others than that. The inscriptions have dates from 3 BCE to 79 of the Common Era. Within this short period of 82 years, we can see something of the development of Semitic palaeography. The writing becomes more and more cursive with the years. We have here a central point between Old Armenian, Square Hebrew, Palmyrian, Sinaitic, Kufi, and Naskh. We may treat the Nabateans as historical, as we have established dates. The Thamud were prehistoric and occupied sites which were afterwards occupied by the Nabateans and others. The kneeling place of Saleh's she-camel, Mabrak al-Naqa, and the well of the she-camel, Bir al-Naqa, and a number of local names keep alive the race memory of an ancient Arabic people and the prophet Saleh. And so we didn't really quite have Arabic at this time, but Arabic would be forthcoming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.